Stream is live. Okay. No, why won't it let me go live?
Oh my God, we're on.
We're on. We're live.
Hey, guys and gals. This is Dave Costa, Renegade Aviator, and I'm with Maya of Maya Flies. Hello, Maya.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. We were saying off air, I'm staying at a rather lousy hotel in the Dallas area. So if I have slow internet, I apologize in advance. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us today. This is Moses Lake Live. And I'm semi-alive, and Maya's always alive, ready to go with her big smiling face. And we've got top secret news today, Maya, which you and I know about, but nobody else does. But before we start into that, a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, June 15th and 16th, 2024, the Moses Lake Airshow. You're going to see both my face and Maya's smiling face. This is a smile for me. You'll see us out there at the air show. We got some really cool stuff planned for you. It is Father's Day weekend, so as I say every week, your dad wants to be taken to an air show, and if you can't find your dad to go to the air show, find any dad and buy that dad tickets to the Moses Lake Air Show June 15th and 16th. What do you think about that, Maya?
Yeah, you guys got to be there. This year is going to be amazing. And your dads will especially love it. So it's a great thing to bring the family out too.
That's true. Dads hate gifts like ties and stuff like that. Yeah. Dads love air shows. And we'll be showing you the website in a little bit. We got some really cool stuff coming down with that. We've got some VIP tickets. Dad needs VIP tickets because dads don't just go in with the regular people. We're dads. So think of that. And as I mentioned, we have some very top secret information. And those of you that were smart enough to join us today on Moses Lake Live, our second episode, we're going to introduce a couple people in just a second. But Maya, nobody wants to hear about me, Renegade Aviator, but a lot of people want to hear about Maya and Maya Flies. Why don't you introduce yourself and give everybody just kind of a refresher from last week?
Yes. Well, hello, everyone. If this is your first time seeing me, hello, my name is Maya. I'm a 16-year-old student pilot and sort of aviation content creator, if y'all want to give me that title. I document my aviation journey on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. I know some of you guys are watching from my Instagram, so hello, I'm reading your comments. I just can't respond right now. But yeah, if you want to follow me on any of my socials, the username is right here. Just type that in and you'll find me. But yeah, I'm really close to getting my private pilot's license in check ride prep right now. I'm the recipient of a few scholarships that have helped a lot. One of being the AOPA, repping their merch today. But yeah, I'm really excited to be co-host for the Moses Lake Airshow this year. And yeah, we'll see where this goes.
That's great. That's great. And I'm one of the performers, if you haven't seen or heard of me, but I fly a TS-11 Iskra jet. I'm one of the air show performers this year. I'll be helping out with some of the announcing. And, this Moses Lake Air Show has, it's a fairly new air show, but we are attracting people from a wide geography out to this place out in Moses Lake, Washington. And it was the, brainchild of Terry Quick, and put some really cool stuff together early on. It's an amazing feat what goes on at all air shows, but especially Moses Lake's air show, because there's not a lot of people out there, but we draw from a couple hundred miles, which is unheard of. But you're going to see, we'll go through performers a little bit later. You're going to see some really cool performers this year. Every year it gets better. And I don't know, Maya, you want to introduce why we're doing this today and what's the new part of this? You want me to take a stab at it?
I will take a stab at it, and if
Good.
you want to add anything, feel free. So the big announcement we have, the Moses Lake Airshow has always had like full-on performances from military groups, from aerobatic performers. But a new thing that we're doing this year, we're calling it the RC Invitational at Moses Lake Airshow. So people from all around the world who fly RC planes, remote controlled aircraft, will come in and show their stuff. These pilots are incredible, and they did a mini version of this last year that I got to see, and it was in my YouTube video. I was actually talking about, I'm like, I wish they would do more with it, and here we are. They're doing more with it. So it's going to be super fun this year. We got some incredible RC pilots coming in, and hopefully y'all can make it to see this insane RC air show.
You know, it's the World RC Invitational, which is pretty cool,
Yeah.
right? And I'll tell you what, as a guy that's always just flown regular airplanes, when I took a look at what they had set up last year, it's amazing how far RC has come, because I'm old enough to remember not even radio controlled, but airplanes at the end of a string, Maya, that we would stand there like an idiot holding a string and the airplane would buzz around and we would do that. And that was about my intro to it. So I'm a neophyte with this. I don't know a whole lot about RC stuff, but the two people that we have today are the pinnacle, are the experts. And I love it when there's smarter people than me on the show, because then we can sit back and relax. At least I can sit back and relax. Let me introduce and bring in two people, Archie Stafford and Ray Labonte. And come on in, guys. Join us. Welcome.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Here you go. Archie, maybe I'll start with you. You want to kind of go over a little bit about what the World RC Invitational is, kind of your thoughts on it, maybe then pass it over to Ray. Just kind of give us a preview, because it's really unique. You know, it's not, you don't see this at every air show. You don't, everybody's used to seeing guys like me hop into a jet and fly it. But you guys have got some really cool stuff planned.
Yeah, so there's a show over in Europe each year hosted by Horizon Hobby, the Horizon Hobby Air Meet, that basically they try to do exactly what Terry's vision is here, and we're trying to replicate it in the U.S. It's basically bring in some of the top pilots, some of the top airplanes that are available out there, and a chance to showcase the hobby and promote it to try to get more people interested in the hobby. A lot of people came from the hobby side. Astronauts, Neil Armstrong and others all started in models. A lot of your full-scale guys started in models and have moved up into wonderful things, but a lot of us already started in the model world. I've turned my hobby into my full-time career. I'm a UAV pilot, a tactical UAV pilot for the last 25 years. And there's a lot of guys that started this way that have been fortunate enough to make it a career that gets to play with airplanes.
So,
oh, my bad.
No, that's okay, Maya. I think Archie, if I'm not mistaken, you were an airline pilot as well, right?
No, I'm a tactical UAV guy. Ray was the airline pilot.
Oh, you're okay. I got one. See, first mistake. There you go. Captain fails.
You don't want me in the front of an airliner, I can assure you that.
But for Archie, the
first mistake was inviting Archie and I to be part of the show.
The bar is really low.
Yeah.
All right, so I got a question for Archie. Is that a B2 RC plane behind you?
Yes, that is a 1/12 scale B2 Spirit. It is twin turbine powered. It will be, it's the one up above me, obviously there. Surprisingly, it's not in stealth mode right now, apparently, but it's twin turbine, basically 15-foot wingspan that it will be at the show. And then immediately behind me is a third scale MiG-17 that just got finished and hoping to maiden here in the next couple of weeks.
That's amazing. All right, that's all the questions I got so far from my Instagram. But
Ray, you want to add anything else with
Yeah, so I'm Ray Labonte. Archie's the one that brought me into the equation, just because I've been involved with trying to put together model events with full-scale events and that sort of thing. So I kind of tend to know a lot of the people that, we wanted to get together for this particular show. And what we have in mind and what we have organized at the moment is we've capitalized on probably the 10 biggest personalities we have that we can get our hands on and get them to Moses Lake. It's kind of a who's who in the world of model aviation here in the States. Good cross-section of talent, flying a variety of different things. You'll get a chance to see a variety of airplanes, a variety of acts. Try to keep it really entertaining. We're shooting for a 90-minute to maybe 2-hour demonstration period. And I can assure you it'll be an interesting, in-your-face sort of performance. As David mentioned, I was an airline pilot. I got a little intrigued watching the first episode of this. Maya, you remind me a little bit of myself, although much more talented than me. I was 17 years old when I started flying full-size airplanes, and it was really an extension of my models. So that's a conversation we can have someday, maybe out on the ramp, but flying radio control is a great stepping stone to aviation in a lot of ways. I've had the opportunity numerous times to bring my model airplane friends into the cockpit of a full-size airplane, and they're automatically ahead of the game because they already have some good foundation of information. So RC is a great stepping stone to get into aviation in a grander scale. So it'll be intriguing to do that.
Well, and this year, last year, we kind of saw a preview of it, but this year we'll be using that runway. There's a special runway that Moses Lake put in just for the RC aircraft, which I thought was pretty unique. There it is right there, a picture of him laying this thing, a pretty high-tech system. And for those of you that go to air shows and think that, you're going to see tiny little airplanes, these are big airplanes and they're flying closer to the crowd. What amazed me when I saw, especially in these jets, I'm a jet guy. I love everything about jets. I couldn't, when you glance over your shoulder, I thought I'm looking at the actual airplane flying. And you guys have got a lot of time, energy, and money put into these aircraft. How, because it's an air show, right? And people like the history and the elements around the air show and aircraft. It seems like you guys take a lot of care to make these airplanes pretty true to life, just in scale. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. There's quite a few of them out there. I mean, the MiG-17 behind me is what they essentially refer to as museum scale. So no matter where you're looking inside, if you open the flaps, open the landing gear doors, things like that, a lot of the scale detail would be there exactly how it is. The cockpits are fully done. So it looks exactly how it would. I went as far with this one as got the Will Ward, who's the owner of the full scale version of this one, has become really good friend. I've become really good friends through this process. And he sent me pictures of his flight suits. The pilot's wearing his exact flight suit with his exact patches, the same helmet, everything down to the tiniest detail is done up on that. And quite a few of these airplanes are done that way.
That's
Very
incredible.
Cool. Very cool. Ray, your transition, as you mentioned, airlines, so you can bring that unique perspective, I guess, of, same fun as flying an aircraft without the hassle. Explain that because a lot of people will go, well, they're not real airplanes, but they are real airplanes in every sense of the word. These are real airplanes. You just don't happen to be sitting in them, but that unique perspective of somebody that's sat in the cockpit of an airliner, for the older grouchy guys like me and go, nah, it's just a model. I know better, but maybe you could help people understand that a little bit better too. Sure.
I started flying models at age 10. And then, as I mentioned, at 17, I did what Maya's doing. I started working on a private pilot's license. Really, as an extension of that, when I started flying full-size airplanes, my instructors used to say, you've done this before. Well, no, but I've got dozens and hundreds of hours of flying models. And the transmitter that we fly with, if you can imagine the right-hand stick, is the same stick you have in a Citabria or a Piper Cub, and you probably have in your military jet. You pull back, you go up, you push down, you go down, right or left. I've actually had probably 3 or 4 occasions where I've separated from flying full scale for a period of time, 6 months, year and a half. I think one time it was 3 years. And then I had an opportunity to jump into a fairly significant airplane. I used to be a check airman. I was asked to help an upstart commuter get a couple of turboprops on their operating certificate that I used to fly. So climbed in that airplane after not having been in it for 3 years and actually not even flown a multi-engine high-performance airplane for a year and a half. And I remember warning the safety pilot, look, I haven't been in this airplane for a while. But the long story short, I jumped in the airplane, I flew it like I had never left it. And he thought I was like, you were lying to me. No. You fly model airplanes. You're in aviation. You're doing something that has your head in the game. The physical skills were there because I've done plenty of it. I have 18,000 hours of flying airliners. I probably have almost that many hours of flying models. So once you've done that and your head is in the game, that is aviation. That's what fascinates all of us. So I couldn't be more stressed in terms of sharing with people just how much, Maya, you're learning to fly. I can tell you, for the price of a single flying lesson in a Cessna 172 with an instructor, somebody can get in the hobby and fly all they want.
Yeah.
Go out there on weekends with a trainer type airplane and get all the aviation experience and skill acquired so that they can minimize how much time it's going to take them down the road. It's carryover in the translation between the two is remarkable.
That's awesome. I don't think people realize how much like you can take that knowledge from RC and apply it to real flying. So I think that's a lot of people in my comments are realizing that like, oh, maybe I should get into this. So yeah, that's a really good point to make.
Have you ever flown RC, Maya?
I have not. I really want to. I have for the past like few years, but like I just don't know where to start, honestly. That's also a good question. Like, I don't know what to buy. I don't know what to do, and I'm gonna crash it. I know that. So
we're gonna change the invitational aspect of this just a little bit. So when we come out to Moses Lake, I will have an airplane there, and our goal is we're going to invite you to come fly on our flight line with us and take some laps with one of our airplanes. Okay,
that sounds
probably
great.
that probably looks a little familiar. It's the model airplane world of a Cessna 172. It's a high-wing, typical trainer, but we'll bring you out to our flight line on practice day. We'll have you take some laps. I can guarantee you, if you're prepared to take your private pilot check ride pretty soon, you'll have no problem driving this airplane around the sky. It's really a great experience. We'll make sure to get that done with you.
That's amazing. I look forward to it. Thank you.
Sure.
Archie, what are the types of things people are going to see when they come out? It's not just, it's unique. And we really want to get people inspired to come out and see you guys, talk to you up on the flight line. But what types of airplanes are you bringing out?
Yeah, so we'll have some of the nice scale airplanes, like I mentioned, over my shoulder here. We'll have some very large sport aerobatic jets that are really high performance, really high speed, 200 mile per hour neighborhood. Most likely some very large propeller-driven aircraft, extra 300 type. There's actually my Mephisto that'll also be out there. That's a 10.5-foot long thrust vector jet. It'll actually hover, just like a helicopter. You can stand on its tail right in front of you. It'll have smoke on it. Some of the aerobatic airplanes will have smoke and be done. A lot of the things will be done. Here's my MiG all together to music. So it'll be all choreographed, and watching guys that really can do that well, it's really enjoyable. It's a skill that takes years and years and years to master. And most of the guys we have coming out are not only great modelers, but they're great showmen as well. So we've got a great variety. We'll have some large scale turbine jet scale aircraft, as well as the sport jets, helicopters, and some large scale aerobatic type airplanes. Am I missing anything, Rick?
Interesting.
Two of the guys that are coming out, they're probably the best formation group. And you can imagine it's one thing to fly formation sitting in a cockpit where you've got a reference point and you're looking over at the guy. These guys are absolute. Ken McSpadden and Mike Adams are absolutely amazing flying RC from the ground in a formation. It's mind blowing watching these guys do it. I still have seen it many, many, many times, and still one of my favorite things to get a chance to watch.
Are they flying first person view or are they flying? So that's a big question, pilot. So, I get it when it's going one direction, but your controls reverse, right? Or at least in your brain that they're reversed.
The perspective is there. I mean, right to the airplane, right is right. If a car is coming at you, if this person turns the steering wheel relative to the car, it turns right. And same thing with an airplane. So over time, you begin to get used to that, and it no longer becomes an issue.
Yeah, as Archie says, Kenny McSpadden and Mike Adams literally have traveled the world, so to speak, flying a couple big F-86s in formation. And David, I'm sure you've got a way, you've got the card to do formation flying and stuff. You know how it's done from the seat of the cockpit. I've done a little bit of it. Doing it with a model airplane, from standing on the ground and just watching and not making contact with your partner and being able to do it in a choreographed manner is probably, to me, the single most challenging thing you could do in aviation. Okay. Not to say that two aerobatic pilots, you know, going out there and doing an aerobatic display together it's an incredible talent. The Blue Angels, the Thunderbirds, incredible talent. The ability to do it with a model is so different, because that you are standing on the ground. This is actually Kenny and Mike. They fly a couple F-86s together, but they also fly a Corsair and a Tiger Cat. We all know full-scale air shows, they love to do these victory passes and, you know, that sort of thing. And this is what they're replicating. That Corsair, radial engine, hydraulic folding wings, a quarter-scale representation of the real model. Not that particular one, but models just like it are used in the motion picture industry for doing some specialized filming. One of the guys we have coming to perform is a hired gun for the motion picture industry. He's done 2 or 3 major motion picture films. Dunkirk, the big Heinkel that they fly in Dunkirk. This fellow's going to join us with his big F-16 to be a part of the demo. We've got, I can't imagine getting a better crop of 10 pilots to this event to showcase our passion, something Archie and I have done our entire life, and in general for an aviation enthusiast. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it. We can engage with people up close and personal. We're going to get to introduce Maya to the control side of a transmitter and have some fun there.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
How does the thrust to weight match the real aircraft? It seems like these aircraft have got a higher thrust to weight from the actual plane, or do you guys try to match that thrust to weight? Because some of the performance, it seems amazing, you know, how short the ground roll is for takeoff and some of the maneuvers that we see you guys do. How do they compare with the actual bird?
So some of the aerobatic type, it's probably closer to 2 to 1. On the good side, they will easily hover and climb out and accelerate going vertically. The same with thrust vector jets. They're probably 1.8 to 1, something like that. The scale airplanes are probably closer, but they're still on the higher end of that. But just because they give a little more realistic performance that way. But yeah, for the aerobatic stuff, they're probably closer to 2 to 1 than they are. Some even higher than that, 2.5 maybe to 1.
Man,
Crazy.
I heard a funny exchange. I'm sure all of you know who Rob Holland is.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So Rob Holland, current world aerobatic champion, multi times over. It's just so happens he lives about an hour and a half away from me. He's flown at a couple of my events in his big airplane. We have a fellow in the model airplane world. His name is Kike Somanzini. He's referred to as the godfather of 3D flying. He was in Maine doing some flying for one of my events, and Rob was there. And I remember Kike, very humble person. Archie knows Kike, very humble, very professional, one of the most talented people you'll ever see with a transmitter in his hand. And I saw him walking up to Rob because he wanted to introduce himself, obviously admires Rob. And as he approached Rob to introduce himself, Rob stopped him and said, "Please do not introduce yourself to me. It is my honor to meet you." The reason I say that is because Rob had been watching Kike's videotapes and what he can do with a model airplane with the advantage of a 2 to 1 power to weight ratio, but torque rolling and hovering and tumbling and all that stuff that people like Rob do today, Kike has been doing for 20 years. And I heard the exchange between Rob and Kike on how Rob would sit there going back, watching it, slow motion stuff, trying to figure out what his inputs and stuff were. So it was just a really, really neat experience to actually be there to hear it, knowing Rob, which I did, and having that introduction, seeing it happen. I mean, Kike walked over to me and like, I can't believe it. I mean, he's like, you know, he was just blown away with the fact that me in model airplane world had an influence on him and vice versa.
Cool.
It was very
cool.
That's awesome.
Well, you know, professionals and people of excellence, right? People that want to be excellent in anything respect excellence in everything. And so it's really easy to pigeonhole people into this, that, or the other thing, right? But when you see excellence, you don't have to talk about it. You can see it. You can realize it, and to be around anybody that can do amazing things. It's hard work. It's skill. It's dedication. And to get on my soapbox on aviation, we're just not seeing people show up at the airport enough. And part of that is people say airplanes are expensive, and they are. It's hard. Yeah, it is. But RC aircraft, RC flying, as you, both of you mentioned, Archie and Raymond, that this is the end for maybe a lot of the kids, because we all grew up where we could just drive to the airport and walk into anybody's hangar. Well, those days don't exist anymore at a lot of airports. But man, you can find RC people, and from everybody I've talked to, you're both of you included, welcoming. It's that grassroots aviation. We all like to see changes. Change is tough, or change is hard to take a lot of times, but that is the reality today. And what we're doing now, I guess, with technology and things of that nature, and you can get started at any age, right, guys? I mean, is there a minimum age to do RC flying?
No, to be honest, I started flying when I was 4. I grew up in this with my father and things like that. So, I mean, it's been my entire life, and it's fortunate enough to turn it into a career. National organization, the Academy of Model Aeronautics, oversees all the model aviation activities. They're the ones that host the club, or the sanction the clubs. There's 2,400 of those across the country. They have a really in-depth education department. We give away $50,000 plus in scholarships every year. We've got quite a few high school programs, with one that I actually run, that my wife was the one that founded, because UAS for STEM, and it's basically high school level drone program that gives kids a chance to. And we're actually partnered with EAA on that. We hold our nationals every year with that event at Air Adventure. So you can imagine high school kids that have just been playing with their drones, and you guys have been to Air Adventure, I'm sure, or at least seen the videos. You can't describe it. You have to go see it when there's 700,000 people there in every airplane imaginable. But we've had quite a few kids catch the bug that way. They got started in one thing, and then we've got a couple people who've now gone to work for like Airbus and other major manufacturers there. But it all started on the hobby side. And so there's clubs. You can go to the AMA's website, modelaircraft.org. There's a club locator there. You put in your zip code, and it'll give you all the clubs nearby. And we try to be very welcoming. And just like everything else, it's always a challenge to attract new people and get new people to come out and try the hobby. But the interesting things you can do with it once you get your foot in the door.
Well, and Archie, you had mentioned as well, and I kind of skimmed over it. And sorry, Maya, I just cut you off, so I apologize.
Oh no, you're good.
But you mentioned, you know, you're a professional or tactical drone operators is what I thought I had heard you say. People can become professional drone pilots now. That's something that didn't exist 20 years ago at least. So there's a career path there as well. And probably there's more opportunities coming for what do you call it? Just RC, or you call them unmanned or uncrewed? I don't know I don't want to make everybody mad if I say unmanned, or but Maya will hit me for the side. Oh,
depends on what branch of service.
Well, the industry refers to them as UASs.
Yeah.
Okay. Unmanned aerial systems. And I'm going to tell you something. I've got a few friends like Archie that make their living doing this, and they're making more money doing that than I did flying right seat in a 727.
Amazing.
It is a great career for the people that want to go towards it. Archie, the company that Archie works for, he's involved in hiring people. They're hiring very proficient modelers to serve those roles. So it's an interesting stepping stone.
Yeah, our primary focus is counter drones. So we test a lot of the counter drone systems, which is obviously becoming a big thing going on in the world now. But the guys that I work with, and there's 15 or so of us that are literally the friends that I would fly with, go to the field and hang out with on a weekend, are the ones that I now work with. So a lot of the guys that are there, guys I see anyway.
Maya, keep going flying. Go fly the full scale stuff. We're going to introduce you to models, but there's a good career path in both directions.
Yep.
All right. So we got a few questions here. So if any of you guys watching right now, feel free to ask questions. We will try our best to answer them with the few minutes we have left. So this first question, how much does a typical RC trainer cost? And if the person was interested in getting started, would they take lessons?
So that's, I kind of mentioned this before. For the price of a lesson in a 172 with an instructor, $250 these days, give or take.
Uh-huh.
You can get yourself into like one of those apprentice 4-channel airplanes that we showed you a picture of before.
Yeah.
Go to a local club, as Archie said, go to AMA's website, find your local club, introduce yourself, bring your airplane along. Matter of fact, a lot of the clubs have club trainers that they invite people to try, but it's relatively inexpensive. $250 is a lot of money, especially for a young person. But again, as it translates to flying, I can assure you, because I've taught dozens of people from both pathways, full scale to models, models to full scale. My modeling friends that have learned to fly full scale, I can almost guarantee you they will learn in 15 to 20% less time because of the foundation of information. So you can do the math and you can realize, you know, if you're going to save yourself $4,000 or $5,000 during the course of your private pilot training because you've taken that step, it's something to think about. It's something I encourage when people come into the shop these days.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Definitely just try it out. And I mean, it'll save you quite a lot of money. It's like its own scholarship in a way.
Definitely go through a club. As Ray will agree, it's not the easiest thing to do by yourself. It's not impossible, but you'll typically go through 2 or 3 airplanes trying to learn the hard way versus show up at a club, get some help, spend a couple weekends, and then it's a lot easier path to go that route than it is to try to do everything yourself.
Yeah.
You're just going to make more airplane friends, and who doesn't want more of those?
Oh yeah. Aviation friends are the best friends. Someone's asking, Colin Aviation is asking, do they have RC airliners like 737s or A320s?
Yeah, in Europe, there's a very large event over there. They've got some giant aircraft. In the States here, there's a company called Motion RC that has a 737 that a lot of people get and paint and do up in completely different liveries. It's electric. It's about $650, but you've seen pretty much all the different airliners or all the different companies out there. At some point, they've put their logos on it, and there's some really neat looking ones out there. There are some larger turbine ones for guys that want to get into it, but they're not quite as popular as some of the other ones.
That's awesome.
There isn't virtually anything that hasn't been replicated with a rate of control model. I'm telling you. The jet that you're flying, Dave, there's one of those out there.
An Iskra, really?
I
need to get one. I'll fly formation with it.
We're working on a couple things. Be careful what you ask for.
I'm a test pilot. I'll come out and do anything once. But you guys, I saw one of your photos had and I've seen a lot of these Viper jet RC models. I've actually flown the real Viper jets.
Yep.
Real, and it's the same airplane, but the people that fly the RC version of it speak very highly of the aircraft. Haven't flown the actual aircraft, I can't say the same. So they fixed whatever problems we had in the real aircraft on the RC version. So I just want to bring one subject in. I see both of you with your models behind you. There's another side to this, is the skill of building things hands-on. Right? I mean, so people may say, look, I just don't want to be a pilot. I love to build. I love to do this. And I think a lot of times as somebody, we all rely on people that can fix stuff. It's another great way to get people in there building and crafting and the skill involved. I mean, your airplane, Ray, what airplane is that behind you?
So actually, after building models for 50 years, I decided to try something a little different. It's actually an RV-14.
Okay.
Well, I'm hoping to climb in this one day and take it for a ride. Okay. Still working on models, but this is just a change in life for a while.
That's awesome.
It's all part of the addiction of aviation. Yes. It's an addiction.
Well, and I will tell you, I mean, I have people ask this a lot. To us, Archie, the MiG-17 and stuff, it's 3-dimensional art. And I can tell you, one of the disciplines within RC are scale contests, because you have people who are incredible builders, and they will literally spend hundreds and thousands of hours building a replica of a MiG-17, a Corsair, a B-17, but then you've got to have the nerve to go out there and fly it. So the scale discipline really requires the all around, you can fly it, you can build it, and you can separate yourself from what could possibly happen to it at that moment. But then within scale, some people just can't separate themselves from it. So they'll have a pilot that flies the airplane for them. So we race airplanes. I saw a thing on there about 3D helicopters. There isn't any place that you can't go in model aviation that doesn't trip somebody's trigger in one form or another.
Yeah, we do.
And the military will hire you too. I think the military has a lot of drones. Sorry, Archie, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The Army, Navy, and Air Force all now have their own paths for. The Air Force still has mostly officers doing the flying, but they do have some enlisted. The Navy and the Army and Marine Corps actually use enlisted guys. So there's actually a pathway to get into it and become basically a professional drone pilot and let the military pay for it and get all the benefits that go with coming with the military.
That's awesome.
And when you talk about that person as a student pilot, you build one of these trainers or something like that, like I did at 12, 13, 14 years old. By the time I got into 152 with my instructor for the first time, I remember doing the pre-flight, and he was trying to point out the washout in the wing, and he started to point. I said, "Oh yeah, washout." And he looked at me. He's like, "You know that? You learn all this stuff. You learn the electrical side of airplanes. You understand the spars, the ribs, the symmetrical airfoil, the semi-symmetrical airfoils, things like that." So again, the foundation of knowledge that comes together to make one of these big airplanes work the way we can make them work and the way people are going to see it out here at Moses Lake. It's the pinnacle of what can be done in the model airplane world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't try that in your extra. That's
that's
amazing.
This is Bryant Mack. Bryant is today's world in model airplanes. He is the Rob Holland of the model airplane world. Is that fair to say, Archie?
Yeah, absolutely.
He is the top dog, and you hand it to him, and he can fly everything and anything the way you're seeing it here.
That's crazy.
Practice, Well, it's what it is. It's in anything. I try to tell my kids this and anybody else who will listen to me, but it's amazing what can happen when you're willing to put in the time, put in the practice, fail over and over again. What he's doing right there and what you guys do with these RC airplanes, it doesn't come overnight, but if it was easy, right? Why do it? Right. So you guys have, you've been through the easy to fly airplanes, you get into the more advanced, the other airplanes. And I think that making that achievement, right, to be that, to be able to demonstrate excellence is, we talk about self-esteem today, it isn't given, it's earned. I mean, so if you want to go out there and do anything, put in the 10,000 hours of practice, and you too can fly an airplane like that. That's amazing.
That's incredible. That takes some real skill and talent. Holy cow.
Yeah. Bryant's another one that literally has traveled the world doing what you're seeing here, and he'll be one of our featured performers at Moses Lake.
That's that's a great segue. We're kind of getting towards the end here, but Jordan, why don't you pull up our performers page so we can give everybody kind of a taste of what's coming up this year, because it's bigger and better. The World RC Invitational is brand new, so that's going to pull people in. But we've got a whole list of people coming out that I think are going to be all part of a great show. And if you have that list or can show it, Jordan, that'd be great. Otherwise, I'll dance. You don't want to see me dance ever. Meet the pilots. Look at that. There we go. What? Now that pilot looks kind of plastic in there.
Yeah. So Mike Adams on the left will be one of the demo pilots that flies in formation with his partner Kenny McSpadden. They've been doing this for 15 years, and I asked him one time, how many flights have you guys done together? And it's like in the thousands.
That's
Thousands of times they've stood shoulder to shoulder, putting their models at risk, doing what they're doing. Mike McConville in the middle actually works with Archie. He's a UAS pilot. He's a former competitor at the Tournament of Champions. This is back in the day when they used to bring 10 Americans versus 10 other people from the rest of the world to come in and do a very high profile aerobatic contest. Mike was one of those pilots. He's a finalist. Of course, there's Archie. Archie will be one of the flyers. Kenny, Joe McBride in the middle. He's the one that's done some motion picture work. There's myself with a MiG-17, unlike Archie's. Bryant, who we've shown a little bit of his flying too. Elad Fish is one of our CARF Models team pilots from California. He'll be there with a whole assortment of airplanes. Don Quorum, probably the nicest fleet of airplanes anybody has on the West Coast. We're fortunate to have him. I don't think we have a picture, but somebody actually I saw bought a 3D helicopter. We do have a couple of guys coming out to fly some very specialized helicopter aerobatic type flying. It's mind-blowing what they'll do with a radio control helicopter. No human being can survive what they're doing with these model helicopters, I assure you. And David is a test pilot. You don't even want to try.
Hey, no, helicopters. My only aircraft crash has been in a helicopter, and that was as a U.S. Marine on the deck of a carrier. So yeah, I'm not fond of helicopters. Sorry. Very cool. Very cool. Well, Raymond and Archie, thank you so much for coming out with this. The World RC Invitational at the Moses Lake Airshow. That's 15 and 16 June 2024 this year, Moses Lake. You'll get to see all this stuff. That was our top secret news. And I'll tell you what, for the first 5 people that because you stayed for the end, the first 5 people that reach out to Moses Lake with your t-shirt size, I'm going to send you a Renegade Aviator t-shirt because you hung with us long enough to listen to Raymond and Archie talk about the really cool things that will be coming out this year. We'll be back in the next couple of weeks with more performers. But Maya, why don't you finish up for us here? And
surprise.
Oh, hey, sure.
No.
I just want to let people know on that awesome offer that David made. Just message us on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, or Dave, you can reach out to David too. Just he'll get it to us. But yeah, let us know. And also just to make clear that you guys know, this awesome addition to the show is a part of the show. So it is not something that needs, just want to make sure everybody knows you don't need separate tickets, anything like that. This is all part of the Moses Lake Airshow. So they will have dedicated time in the mornings when people arrive for this amazing RC portion of the show. Yeah, it's all part of the Moses Lake Airshow. So we'll look forward to seeing you guys there and getting rid of me.
Well, thank you guys, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Raymond and Archie, for joining us today. It was awesome to get to hear more about the RC world and to hear more about what this air show is going to be like. But yeah, everyone be there June 15th, June 16th. Bring your dads. Father's Day weekend. We will see you there. And yeah, we will see you in a couple weeks with the next interview. Hope you guys enjoyed. And
I learned to fly a model airplane while you're there.
Yes. I'm really excited.
Not a better group of people to teach you, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe
true.
2025 might be one of the performers.
There you
Probably not, but it's out there.
That's great.
Well, thank you guys. Yeah, I think that's it.
Thanks, everybody. I appreciate it again for the Moses Lake Air Show, June 15, 16 June. This is David Costa. I am the Renegade Aviator with Maya from Maya Flies and with Archie and Ray. See ya.
Thanks, guys.